Yeah, well, mount our best defense. Look, I haven't seen it, enough to comment on what the impact of Zassi's tackle is, if you know what I mean. So I don't know. Maybe you guys have seen it better, but I don't know if it's enough. It was our fault. We didn't. Gaza wasn't released from the inside by yeah, you did right, James, by Zassi, and then he was stuck, and he turned. So I don't think he was trying to hit with a shoulder. He was trying to turn, but it's the implications are particularly. I'm sure are going to be poor for us. I've got no doubt.
Can you appeal on that?
Well, we can't appeal till there's actually a decision, but you can decide if we're going to wait for them to give us a ruling, or do we go straight to a judicial officer? I think if we go straight to judicial officer, we've got more chance of a better sort of sanction, but there'll be a sanction. I don't see them overturning that unless Zassi's clearly caused the height to come down, which sounds like it's grey. I mean, I haven't seen it really. It sounds like is it grey? Yeah, it's a disaster for us.
Yeah. Firstly, Suleiman, well done. Quickly from Bishops. You led the stage when you came on, but just for you, the transition into senior rugby now, just how's that been? Because sometimes guys peak at school and you think, listen here, they're going to make it, and then nothing happens. But just from you, because you're turning it on week in, week off, when you are off by injury and you come back, you just keep on going. So just from your perspective, you make it look easier.
Thank you. I appreciate the compliment. I think it goes to the team and the coaches. Ultimately, I think for me in my first year, it was more about finding my feet and getting used to the system and understanding what do they want from me. And I think obviously as the years went on now, I think I found myself a bit more and understood what's expected from me from the coaches and from the team. And for me, it's just to ultimately perform in my role and wherever I play, to just perform at the best. And I think that kind of helped me. Having guys like Damien Willems, Dan Toop as well, makes the job easy. And also like Sasha as well and Mani Lepok, they make my job easier, and we're all on the same page. So yeah.
And just in terms of your conversion 22-meter entries, there was a time in the game where there was about 8 entries, 4 tries. So you guys are getting there, the transition is good. But just in terms of your conversion there, because with Cardiff, they had about 75% when they get there, they score. So just that, because I remember there was a time we struggled to get into the 22 because of penalties, etc. So just for playoffs coming up, just what's your thoughts on that?
No, it's against Benetton, we were on 45% of getting points when we went in, which I thought was really good, because it had been an issue before. Last week it dropped down to about 30, and I think this week, I agree with you, it'll be very low. I know it's even the pick and go stuff, we got stripped, the scrum, it was really poor. We left a lot of not tries out there because we didn't convert those entries, did we?
Just lastly for me, obviously this week, Cornel Hendricks. Sad news. Just in terms of like the rugby player for him, the journey, and obviously you guys watching him, he was potentially coming this side. But just the life story. I know for you always, it's about the person, the human. Just looking at it from this perspective, just from your side, and what is meant to the game, giving hope to people, showing that listen here. I mean, he was from Ware High School, and look what happened to him, how he's made it in rugby. So maybe just on your perspective, seeing that we celebrated him today, and obviously his life, but just in terms of rugby, what he's done for the sport.
Yeah, look, I don't want to be pious and claim to be. I didn't know him. Obviously, his story is remarkable. I think the Bulls entrusting him, allowing him back on the field was fantastic, because we didn't, those obviously guys are very scared. But I think, Jake, to your point, he was the best competitor on the field. I mean, of these guys, he was arrived in our faces, everything, and the first guy to give a hug afterwards. He's extraordinary like that. I mean, he was like the arch bull, and in our faces. We wanted to. It was a real classic rivalry. And they say afterwards, the guys loved him down there at Pompies, and I think what he did for the community, with his foundation, extraordinary. I mean, So I don't want to say pious like he's a friend. I didn't know him, what a great rugby oak to give back to the community like that and the story, and yeah, still give back to Boerland. So yeah, I always speak for the sake of it, but as a great rival. But as I say, in our change room afterwards, and that's what rugby's about. So, and I know what he did for the kids, as you say, Wellington and that area.
This game was actually quite tricky, I thought. How you guys pulled it through actually quite convenient because we're reading the quarterfinals, the mindset and not being as hungry as you play your place at being available if you had to win. So in terms of the guys fighting for the pulling through before playoff, must take a lot out of that actually. Going into a quarterfinal where it wasn't perfect, we've got a lot of work on. We spoke about the conversion rate. It's actually almost sort of an ideal kind of grade.
Yeah. Yeah, it was. Other than the red card, I thought, I was worried. Did we lack intense because of those breakdowns? But then I think, but there were some tough calls there. So it was, no injuries. Damon is a disaster, but no injuries, brilliant. And we can't wish it away in rugby. They had to win to stay alive. Probably witness the fact they're not here. And then we were, once we'd scored the 4 tries, we were in 5th, probably. So it was tricky from that side. And I think to be fair to us, as good as they were, and I give them credit, they fought, they were organised, they never went away. I don't think we ever looked like losing, and that's a good performance given the changes and what is at stake here.
And just so you're going to move that man back to 30.
Are you scratching a sore? Yeah. You could play for South Africa at wing or centre. He's going to, no doubt.
Stephen.
It's the pluckiness that Cardiff had in a way that they challenged you guys maybe in the right way before the playoffs.
Yeah. I think the way they don't go, and there were 40 minutes of the difference in man, more or less. I think the contestable game, that's a playoff thing that I think their attack shape isn't it silly off the 10. That's really some tricky stuff. We're actually nice that we've played 4 teams with really good attacks over the last 4 weeks. Bizarrely, the Dragons' attack is clever as well. So they did test us like it's a good playoff test. I think where we got a little bit frustrated with scrums. I think we lost the penalty battle when we were clearly a far superior scrum. Not saying the decisions were wrong, but if you're clever, they didn't take a hit. And
Yeah, no, I grew up in Manenberg. Obviously, it's not the greatest there. It's gangsterism and all the other bad stuff. But I think for me, being a part of the Stormers and like going through Bishops kind of give a bit of hope to those kids in Manenberg as well. Like to see that there's someone in that field, in that place that used to come from that background and kind of aspire to greater heights. I think that's amazing, and that's what ultimately we need in the community. And I think I'm one of many to come from those communities and be a stature like that. And hopefully I can just carry on and bring hope to the kids from Manenberg, and not just Manenberg, all over. And I think that's a massive thing for us as rugby players as well. Like I'm speaking about myself now, coming from that, but there's so many other guys that's doing this exact same thing.